Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. Jeff, I have an idea. So in honor of Bret Hart, for the entire episode, can we just bitch and moan about everything?
Yeah, as long as you drop in how much you hate Goldberg. That's the only thing I ask. Yep.
Do not say anything positive this entire time. Everything has to be negative.
Just a fully negative episode. I'm okay with that too. Yeah, that's the approach to take this.
We were at the Nutter Center in Dayton. The building sucked. The crowd was dead. Bam Bam doesn't know how to work. That dipshit Hulk Hogan was on the show. They were wrestling for my title. Vince didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Everyone else on the card was on steroids.
Yeah, and
at least Eric Bischoff wasn't there.
I didn't even know who Bill Goldberg was, but I hated him. I never met the kid.
Yeah.
So he would have still been in Georgia at this point. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah.
God. All right. How'd you pick this match?
Yeah. So this is one that we are now in June at this point, and June is historically had been the month of King of the Ring. And so I wanted to make sure we do have Night of Champions later this month in Saudi Arabia. So they're not quite the same, of course, but the King of the Ring, just as an idea and what it is it's such a cool concept. Like to do this tournament style. I've always said I wish they would do more of this. Build to something. You could really make a champ out of some of this stuff. And so we actually got quite a few King of the Ring matches lined up over the next couple of weeks, just because there is some really good stuff that's, I say, hidden in a lot of these. And so, and this was one that we haven't covered. Of course, we've covered a lot of Bret Hart. We have not covered a ton of Bam Bam, some of his ECW days, actually, but never his WWE days. We had the Shane Douglas match. We had the Taz match that we've discussed, but this will be our first singles WWE match for Bam Bam Bigelow.
Cool. I'm really looking forward to this match.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. It's time for the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
All right. So if you go back and watch this show and you want to play a drinking game, drink every time that an announcer calls Dayton, Ohio, the heartland of America.
Sure.
It's like, I bet you 100 times throughout the show. I don't know why I find it so funny, but we're in the heartland of America. I mean, it's like, I think they just wanted to be in a bigger city, but the product wasn't very hot at the time. So they're just trying to sell Dayton. This is the one of the finest cities.
Hot spot of wrestling, man.
Yep. Yeah. June 13th, 1993, we're at the Nutter Center, 6,500 in attendance, smaller building. We start off with a dark match of Papa Shango retaining the USWA championship against Owen Hart. So show starts out, we got all the King of the Ring matches, and the only non-King of the Ring, actually three non-King of the Ring matches actually, that all happened back to back to back. But going with the tournament first, we had Bret Hart defeat Razor Ramon in 10 minutes. These are quarterfinal matches. Mr. Perfect defeat Mr. Hughes by DQ. Bam Bam Bigelow defeat Jim Duggan in 5 minutes. Lex Luger and Tatanka ended in a 15-minute time limit draw, so both are out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So Bam Bam goes into the finals. You may share more about this.
You're good. Yeah.
Bret Hart defeats Mr. Perfect in 19 minutes, which was a great match. Yokozuna gets the world title off Hulk Hogan, which, again, having watched the Hulk Hogan documentary, it's kind of interesting to see all of the behind the scenes of that. And, Hogan came back, he wins the title, but then he drops the title. And Jeff, I just wish he never would have left, right? It's like, I wish Hogan and Macho Man would have been part-timers for another 10 years. And I don't know. Vince was just so adamant. I think he was just so adamant of everyone needs to be full-time. Everyone needs to work all the house shows. And I understand it was a different business back then, but I think it was very, I don't know why he was so opposed to attractions. Andre the Giant was an attraction, made him a lot of money, but I don't know. But I also think that Hogan and Savage probably wanted to be on the top of the card as well, but work part-time. So we had an 8-man tag match. The Steiners and Smoking Guns are going to defeat Money Inc. and the Head Shrinkers. Really no purpose in that match. Shawn Michaels is going to defeat Crush to keep the IC title. And then our main event, which is an 18-minute match, Bam Bam Bigelow and Bret Hart in the King of the Ring final. So, and then there's a whole nother round that you can walk through because there's some fun names on there. So walk us through the King of the Ring, how we got there. There's a lot to cover here.
Yeah, overall, like you said, you ran through the kind of tournament here on this one. The overall competitors, Bret Hart actually got a bye the first round because of who he is. Razor Ramon, Tita Santana, Mr. Perfect, Doink the Clown, Kamala, Mr. Hughes, Hacksaw, Papa Shango, Bam Bam, Typhoon, Bob Backlund, Lex Luger, Tatanka, and the Giant Gonzalez. Excuse me. So going into this, like I said, Bret got that first round kind of bye. You really had at this point, we're 1993. We're trying to get away from Hogan a little bit here. You had Bret being elevated to be that top baby face and kind of what he was doing. And Bam Bam was just the heel. Like he moved like nobody else was. And a man that was that big. And so this was the first King of the Ring. It was very critical because this was the first time that the tournament was presented as a full pay-per-view centerpiece to prove that it could be done. And so winning actually meant something in terms of what happened into the tournament. So there wasn't a kind of a deep rivalry between any of some of them, but not these two going into this specific match. It was really that tournament structure. And so the biggest selling point is Bret had that first round bye, but then he had to beat Razor Ramon and Mr. Perfect. So he's hurt, he's exhausted. Like Bret, he's fighting the tournament too. On the flip side, Bam Bam, because of that, the timeout or time limit draw, Bam Bam got a bye in the semifinal. So Bam Bam is coming in fresh after Bret had just wrestled another match on top of this one. So that was the story that they were kind of telling on a larger scale of this show of, hey, yeah, Bret is the champ, but Bret is hurt. Like Bret is coming into this not at 100%. What's going to happen next is settled in the ring. And no other way to look at it.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to covering this one. This will be a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited about this one.
You ready? Yeah,
let's get right into it, man.
All right, it's time for the payoff.
Ho! It's time for the payoff.
Time to bring the fans this matchup because Hart's last match went
I don't think we are 24 minutes remaining in King of the Ring 93. Netflix. That's okay. I got you, buddy.
Thank you. Only done this 355 times.
It's fine. You'll figure it out one day. Hard hitting. Trade blows right out of the gate.
Man, I was just always a big Bam Bam fan. He moved around great. He was a different look. Kind of a cool heel, cool baby face. I don't know. I just love Bam Bam.
Yeah. I make no secret, like I like the big. I was a big kid, and so Big Boss Man, Bam Bam Bigelow, Vader, like that was just the look was really cool, yeah. And so, and to see them move the way they did, like that was just a big deal. Which great to see Big Boss Man Ray getting some love for the next season of Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
So with the big man thing, I think that I'm always a fan of like Bret and Sean against big guys. So I like that. All right. Do you have all of the Dark Side? Do you have that all pulled up?
Yeah. Okay. I can actually
run through those because I felt like this could be the best season ever.
This should be, and so they're doing a 3-part starting with a 3-part Jeff Jarrett and TNA. The kind of retrospective. If I remember right, Jeff has sat for he has sat for interviews for other Dark Side. So I think it's going to be great to see him talking about it. Like, you figure you might have AJ, you might have some of these wrestlers. I think it's going to be really cool to see kind of who they have and kind of who's out there and all this other stuff. The other one too, you've got, of course, the Big Boss Man. They're going to do on that one, Paul Orndorff, Missy Hyatt. I'm looking at who else here. I'm trying to reload this a little bit here. Big Boss Man. I said, the big one on Zach Gowen, who is had his leg amputated, and so missing that. But then, and I had forgotten about this, and so I'm really excited. They also had the Rick Wilson, who was the Renegade. Yeah, and I don't know if I blocked that out or what the deal was, but yeah, I don't remember that.
The character.
The Renegade, yeah. I don't know was it that short-lived that I just don't remember it?
I mean, it was like 95 WCW, Ultimate Warrior ripoff. I think there's some tie-in with like Hogan and Jimmy Hart where they're like, you look like the Ultimate Warrior, so let's play him. And then I think he had some issues. I don't remember what they were. I don't even want to say it, but like I feel like he may have died in a mysterious way or something nefarious. I don't know. So there's a pretty wild story there.
I'm pulling it up so we have it. And so I was curious. His best match is considered to be a WCW World Television Championship.
If you say Arn Anderson, I'm going to laugh.
Against DDP at Fall Brawl 1995. And so
I don't know why that Arn Anderson in my mind, but I know he's had some TV title matches that were supposedly not horrible.
He won the TV title from Arn Anderson.
There you go. Okay. Told you.
So you had it. Yep. You got it there. Yeah. WCW 95. That was not much. Bad financial depression after being released. No companies made him any offers. Oh yeah, shot himself. So
I thought that's what happened.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, as many of these stories are, they're sad. And then Samoa Joe and Necro Butcher, which we will have to cover that one because it says it's a 10-minute hard-hitting kind of match. And so I'm excited. I think I really like the long-form 3 episodes that you could do a full season on TNA, I'm sure. And so, but I'm glad they have the freedom to kind of cover a lot more, do a lot more. I think that'll it'll be really good. And so, yeah.
I know it's easier said than done, but I just, in a lot of these, I mean, and again, you and I are just huge marks, but like, I feel like the vast majority of the time I'm always wanting more, and maybe that's just smart entertainment, but like, rarely, I mean, I don't know, like the Marty Jannetty thing could have been 2 episodes. I mean, just as an example, the Hulk Hogan documentary could have been 10 episodes instead of 4, right? I mean, there's just, I just feel like a lot of this stuff, I would like more. Like TNA, at least 3 episodes. Because remember, those aren't 3 hours. They have TV, so you're like at 45. So yeah, it's like 2 hours on TNA. I could do 5 hours on TNA, honestly. So
not trying to get away. I was saying, not trying to get away from Dark Side, but now that we have both watched the Hulk Hogan documentary, thoughts?
I mean, overall, I thought it was excellent. I thought that was the most raw version of Hulk Hogan we've ever gotten.
Yep.
You know, and I know it's like, oh, the guy's a bullshitter and he makes up stories and stuff. It's like, look, couple things. First of all, that era of wrestlers, they all tell a lot of stories. Okay. You know, Ric Flair will tell you he worked, 800 matches one year. All right. Like they're all, it's just a different generation of men at a different age. They grew up in a different era and there were a lot of embellishments. I mean, dude, I went back and looked at, Hulk Hogan's schedule. So like did you see the chart online of like what Hogan drew versus what?
Yes.
Okay. Long story short, when Hogan was on the card, it drew like twice as many fans, right? Obviously. Yep. And some of that might be that they worked bigger towns, but granted, okay. My point is like, dude, he was working most of those months, he was working like 10, 11 matches, all right, or shows. Yep. So like, again, I'm not saying he didn't beat the shit out of himself and like it wasn't rough, but like they weren't working 8 matches a week for 10 years. So it's like, it's just a little, again, so there's a lot of exaggeration that happens in the business. So it's like, let's not single out Hulk Hogan like he's the only one that's a little bit of a BSer. But I did think it was the most open and vulnerable version of him. I wanted more. I mean, I wanted 10 episodes, not 4. Obviously, that documentary is exponentially better if Vince McMahon's involved. So it would have been nice to get him there. But yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was excellent and it's done great ratings. So I could see maybe them adding more episodes. Not that they do that a ton, but they have a lot more footage. And I'm sure that they're now looking at saying, what's the next one? Is there a Steve Austin one to be told? They've done Taker, but I think Austin would be fantastic if he's willing to open up. But I don't know if he's willing to go there because he was arrested or got in trouble for domestic abuse, and I don't know how if he wants to sit down and really do it. So it'll be interesting. Is there anyone else that comes to mind that like would have that treatment? I mean, maybe a Bret Hart, but not sure. HBK just did one for Peacock that I thought was a little bit of a puff piece, but it was pretty good. But again, that was an hour and a half, and I thought that should have been 5 hours. So what did you think?
Yeah,
and what thoughts?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny because it was the second episode, I believe it was the second episode. I texted you, kind of live tweeting it as I was going. I was like, "Are they fucking interviewing Donald Trump? Like, is this really real? Is this real life?
It's insane. It's insane they got him.
Sorry, spoiler, but like I was like, there's no lead up to that at all. It's just all of a sudden they're talking about that mania in Trump Plaza, and it's like, what the hell, like." And so he's talking about the finger point, which I thought was funny as that wasn't really his move, but whatever. So, overall, I wanted more. We are going to get especially Hogan, that an interview like that where he sits down and kind of, is talking him. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be embellished. They're going to just not remember it, right? Because they were dropped on their head hundreds of times. And so I thought overall it was very good. It was incredibly, you couldn't help but feel incredibly sad by the end. How they ended it, which, of course, unexpectedly with the funeral, I thought that was just, it was brutal.
I was verbally like my reaction probably the last like 15 minutes was just like, ugh.
Yeah, and I'm like in a hotel room. It was just tough. Yeah, I'm in a hotel room alone watching this, literally like crying, and not because of I get it. There's a lot of people that don't like him because of what he said, that, say, oh, he's a racist, all this other stuff. But like, there's a lot of people though that love him despite that. Like, and like, Jimmy Hart and Hacksaw and all those guys coming back was for them too. And I don't know. I think the sad reality is, one, some of these wrestlers, if they haven't sat for interviews yet, we're never going to get a story like that. Some of these, like, Flair, I feel like is the only one that may be left from that kind of generation that could tell a story. But that's another one. You could literally do 20 episodes and you wouldn't scratch the surface of Ric Flair. Like, you just, it's another one. But like, Undertaker, yeah, like you said, we got it. Like, Randy Savage is gone. Bret, would I watch Bret do 4 episodes? Sure, but who knows what to believe, what not to. I feel like you do somebody like The Rock, it's all going to be stylized, and it'd be terrible.
No interest.
Stone Cold, they don't cover the cats in like his post wrestling life. I'm going to feel like, I'm missing out on something here. Like, and so, Andre's gone. Like, all these guys, like Roman's too young. Roddy Piper's gone. Eddie's gone. The stories that I would want to hear from some of these guys, just, it's sad that they're not around anymore. I'd hope that they are doing more interviews with some of these guys. Darkseid's really the only one that's kind of sitting with a lot of them. And so maybe Brock one day, like Brock in 10 years, I don't know. So,
and I think artistically, you just lose so much when it's not the person. Right. Yep. And I think, having that person sit down for a few days of recording and just get all of it.
Yep.
Again, another sad part of it is they were going to film more interviews. They said, keep your outfit, like put it aside in your closet, because we may, we're going to come back and probably need some more stuff. So there might have been a whole nother day of film. It's a shame. And I think like it felt like he may have not needed that surgery, or so I don't know. It's just
we'll never know the truth on that one. It's I know one of my favorite stories with all of it is, I know I texted it to you. I was like, boy, if Hogan wasn't wrestling, like, boy, they were just banging like all the time. Like that was Hogan's behind the scenes. Like, it was just crazy. So we actually had a restart on this match because Luna Vachon came down and hit Bret Hart with a chair, ran away before it could do anything, or the ref could see it or do anything. So we're going back at it. Earl Hebner actually coming back and restarting this one for us.
A very, very good match. Let's check in on the audio.
Hard hitting.
By Bret the Hitman Hart, and he drops Bam Bam Bigelow right on that tattoo.
It was circulating online over the last few weeks, but I don't know. I think maybe after the Hogan documentary, but a pretty good conversation. And I've talked about this on here before, but just basically how dirty they did Bret in this era. And so virtually everything that they could have done for Bret, I felt like they did wrong. So it is ascension to being a main eventer. So how does he win the title? Well, he beats Flair on a TV taping, but it never aired. I found out about it in the magazine. There was no coronation. Then, we had him lose the title to Yokozuna a few months later. Then we're here. It was funny because another piece of this, there's like that part of it, but then, he was working Macho Man on some like overseas house shows. And it's like, well, where was that on TV? Because if you gave maybe you make Savage like not a full heel, but like a semi heel, like they did with Shawn against Hogan. Yeah. And then let Macho put Bret over. It was just, or let Bret be the guy to beat Yokozuna. But the idea of throwing the title on Bret against Flair, like, why not just let Savage keep it and then have Bret beat Savage at WrestleMania 9? Like that would have been a hell of a main event. I will never understand the booking decisions they made during this era because, the talent was there. Like if you go, 92, 93, even into 94, I mean, you're talking about like some combination of Bret, Taker, Macho, Flair, Hogan, Razor, Diesel, and I know some of but you understand what I'm saying. Like it's not like they didn't have the talent, but it's like you're telling me you couldn't have done something with Macho and Bret.
Yeah,
you had Shawn Michaels floating around, you had Bulldog floating around, you had Warrior floating around. Again, I know some of it was steroids and everything else, but I don't know, man. Like I just felt like if you had another shot at booking this, almost anything you could have done would have been better than the way they did all this. But ultimately, that's why, you hear me say Bret, I just find to be overrated. But that's why, because I just felt like, he didn't really do a whole heck of a lot that I found interesting until, 97. And by that point, he was out the door and on the WCW. And then he did nothing after that.
Yeah, and to this day, even that WrestleMania 9, like it will forever. Like Hogan's like, I just went out there and did it, and Bret's like, this was bullshit. We were all in on it, and then, Vince is trying to get, it just, that's another one of those that will forever be the lore of WWE history that will never know the true story of what happened and all that other stuff. So.
The sharpshooter.
Bret going for the sharpshooter.
Bret's just
slowly working Bam Bam. Oh, no way. Yep.
For the sharpshooter. That's his maneuver. Can he get it on Bigelow, whose legs are huge, and Bigelow powered out.
Did not work. Remember WrestleMania 9, he almost got on Yokozuna. In fact, he did get it on Yokozuna.
Hart doesn't have a power left.
Yeah, man, I know it's easy in hindsight, but hey, why don't we put Macho Man in the ring instead of on commentary?
Yeah, I know. I was just gonna make a comment about him being on commentary, which I love, but also
the guy wrestled another 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, there was a interview that I just saw the other day, a clip of it. It was 2000, Macho Man, and they asked him about if he'd ever go back to the WWF, and he's like,
"Oh, quick roll up from Bret there."
There you go.
Bret Hart is the king of the ring. Bret Hart is the king of the ring.
Okay.
Savage in the ring.
What a victory.
Okay, so there you go to my point. Savage in there to celebrate with Bret. Guess what? Kick him in the balls, turn heel, and put him over at SummerSlam.
Yep.
All right. They just did all of this wrong. Place went nuts. Like,
he got the
Bret was over, but build up to him winning a title versus the way they did it. Stop, start. Like, he could have been your guy. I'm talking mega draw, but yeah. Just on Savage real quick, as we're watching Bret put on all the outfit here. In 2000, he was like, yeah, I'd be willing to go back to the WWF. Like, it would have to make sense for both sides, but absolutely would be willing. It's just a shame, man. Like, I don't know. It's just a shame they weren't able to bring him back for a run. And it's like, Vince did so many things right and so many things wrong. But, I guess over the course of 30, 40 years, you can find a lot of wrong decisions. You're never going to get them all right. But it's like, man, why couldn't you have reconciled, brought him in for a final run, got him in the Hall of Fame, made him an ambassador? Like, how does that not happen? And I just think it's ego, and it's a shame.
Yeah. And, looking back on it, it's just, Yeah, a lot more right than wrong outside of his, personal life and whatever happened there. But yeah, I think it's just one of those, like, I think I don't think we realized how good we had it with Vince. Like, there was a lot that has changed since that people do not like, and because of TKO's now ownership. And so I'm sure Vince is scheming somewhere, but that's just how it goes. So. Okay. Yep.
All right. Let's get into the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
All right. So what'd you think?
Pretty good. The immediate aftermath here, you got Jerry the King in Bret's face, so we know that'll turn into a thing. But there was, I like the storyline, the big guy, little guy, if you will. It was just all really good. Yep. How about you?
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was a good match. I mean, crowd was into it. They popped big. I'll just say it again. I mean, this is, if you would have progressed Bret along the right path, he would have been a bigger star. He would have been a bigger draw. Now we're keeping him away from the title. We're going to Jerry Lawler. I love the Lawler stuff, right? But it should have happened on the build to him being world champion, not after. So we're going to pause a year and then we're going to try it all again at WrestleMania 10. Didn't work for me, man. So, but as far as this match, yeah, I thought really, really good.
Yeah, you had Bret now. Yeah, the King just attacking him with the scepter. Bret is the single star. He had that feud with Jerry Lawler literally immediately. And so this was kind of the best there is, best there was, kind of reinforced that. Bam Bam is still a main event presence, but nothing really kind of long-term after this. No long-term feud. The final was over. That was it. And so PWI have been forgetting to do this the last couple of weeks, but Bam Bam 33, Bret Hart numero uno in 1993. Not surprising there. So no write-ups, reviews on this one, but I did have the stars on this one if I can get it up.
Like threw that chair at Bret's lower back. It was just like a horrible. Ugh.
Of course, the website's not loading that I need. But anyways, so what are you going to score this one? And I'll try and get us a stars if I can.
Okay, so I'll give this a 7. I thought it was pretty good, man. Like, I mean, you had a lot of the players in the King of the Ring tournament. You made it a big deal. I think it could have used stakes. I like when a world title is attached to it, but really good match. I mean, Bret had 3 good matches on this show. They're building him back up after completely screwing him. So, yeah, I liked it. I'll give it a 7. What about you?
Yeah, I'll be right there with you. Just at a 7. I thought it was overall really good. No complaints. Like, it was hard hitting. It told the story. It's a one-off. It worked out perfect. And so, yeah, I just thought it was really good overall. You go back, good one to go back and watch. Just a stiff match. Yeah.
Cool. What do you got for us next week?
Oh, what are we doing? More King of the Ring. Short one next week, so you can listen in the car and get it done and over, and enjoy yourself. The King of the Ring, not a finals match, but this did turn out to be the best match of this show. Chris Jericho taking on Kurt Angle. We're going King of the Ring 2000. So, like I said, not the finals. This is a quarterfinal match actually, but should be very good.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, as always.
Okay. Well, you're continuing to line up some great matches. We appreciate everyone listening. And as always, thank you for engaging. Thank you for listening. We love doing this. We'll continue to do it. For as long as it's fun, because we have hundreds more matches to go. And we'll see y'all next week on an all-new episode of The Payoff.